we finally have to cast this into a linear layout, so I'm just going to say add cast to linear layout. Now what we're going to have to do is get the image view from the linear layout and set it to the image in the item. So we can say ll dot find view by ID, and we do r.id dot, and if you look in the drawer item.xml, what we're trying to find is the icon underscore image, that image view. So it's r.id.icon underscore image. And then what we're going to do is put parentheses around this whole thing right here. And then at the start, inside the parentheses, we're going to have to cast this into an image view. So add image view right there. So now this whole thing is an image view. And then we can do dot set image drawable. And then we have to get the image drawable from the item. So we can do item dot find view by ID for finding the same ID. So r.id.icon underscore image. And we're just going to do the same exact thing. We're going to cast this whole thing into an image view. So put parentheses around this area and over here, and then inside we put a cast to image view. So now this whole thing is an image view, and we can do dot get drawable. Alright, so now we have the icon image set to the image in the item. Now we're just going to do the same thing except for the text. So li.find view, or ll.find view by ID, it is r.id.icon underscore text. And once again, we are going to cast this whole thing into a text view this time. So text view. And then we can just do dot set text. And it's asking for a char sequence. And that would be inside of the item. So we get it from the item. We do item dot find view by ID, and we call it r.id.icon underscore text, and we're going to cast this whole thing into a text view. So text view. And then finally we can do dot get text. Alright, that was a little bit long, but we got this all set up. So what we want to do now is actually add the view onto the home screen. So what we can do is, we called it home view for adapter. So we go home view for adapter dot add view, and it's there's a different method for add view where it's asking for child and layout parameters. So we can do that one. And for the child, we are going to add the linear layout that we inflated. And then the parameters are just going to be the ones that we created earlier, right here. So LP. So now it's adding the inflated layout onto the home view in the X and Y position with the width and height set to the item. So now we need to make it so that whenever you long click on it, that the drawer closes. So what we're going to do is say drawer for adapter dot animate close, and this is going to close the drawer. Now I'm going to run it and show you a few problems that are going to show up and how we can fix them after I show you. Okay, so now I'm going to show you the problem that comes up. So I'm going to hold down on the Chrome application. Now it added it to the home screen, but then it opened up the application. So we're going to need to disable that. And then there's one other problem that we're going to have to fix. And that is where whenever you lift it up, the application is actually on top of the drawer instead of underneath it. So the making it underneath is very simple. All we are going to have to do is do right after animate close, we can do drawer for adapter dot bring to front. This is going to bring that view to the very front, which will make the item in the background. And then the other problem was that it was launching it. So I've tried to disable the click event whenever you hold down, but I just couldn't find a way to do it without making a variable. I've tried disabling click and setting it to disabled and things like that. I just couldn't do it without making a variable. So if you can find a way to do that, you can do it your way, but here's how I'm going to do it. I'm just going to make a static boolean, and I can just call it app launchable. And this is on the main activity. And by default, it's going to be true. And then in the drawer long click, in the very first part, we can do main activity dot app launchable equals false. And then finally, go into drawer click listener, not long click, and we can detect if we have it so it will launch. So if main activity dot app launchable, then it will launch it. Alright. So that does conclude this video. The only problem now is that whenever you hold down on the long click, it will add it to the screen, but then after that you won't be able to click any other activities on the grid, and it won't open it after the first time because we set the app launchable to false. But in the next video, once we get into dragging, we'll make it so that after you drag it, it will set app launchable to true. But that is going to be in a whole nother video, so I hope you enjoyed this one. If you have, please subscribe and like, and be sure to make a quick little comment, and that would be very nice.